Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, your icon, your legend, Hollywood J. Williams here. You are not watching any other wrestling show. You are watching the greatest, the brand new wrestling show here at NHTV, The Squared Circle. I am back in charge. I am back in control. It is the dawning of a new era here in public access. Joining me here at the table, here on the Squared Circle, is none other than John Zimmerman and Mr. Jordan Izzo.
It's great to be here with all you wrestling fans. We're going to cover everything from WWE to TNA to your independents. It's all right here.
Hey Jay, thank you for having me. Looking forward to spreading some information and maybe getting some calls.
We'll be taking some calls here, probably about 7:15. But like I said, this is the dawning of a new era. This is the Squared Circle here on NHTV, Cable 18. A lot's going on here in the world of professional wrestling. You know, there's a saying I have here. We're not on before Raw. Raw is on after us.
Certainly.
I like that.
And, you know, on Raw tonight, Raw will be emanating from the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And on Raw tonight is the return of the legend, WWE Hall of Famer, Bret the Hitman Hart. And everybody remembers the Montreal Screwjob.
Very well.
Very well.
Absolutely. For those of you that aren't familiar with the Montreal Screwjob or want to know more about it, one of the greatest sources of information, Bret the Hitman Hart, Wrestling with Shadows. Highly recommended. It's an independent production, documentary, and it describes not only the Montreal Screwjob, but Bret's struggle with after he had this stroke and the aftermath of the WWE experience and the WCW experience, and how he basically went broke after it happened, and his comeback and his reconciliation with Vince McMahon. Mm-hmm. And a second source of information, WWE Productions unusually put out a product where they have two of their superstars out of character. Shawn and Bret sit down and have a frank conversation moderated by Jim Ross, and they pretty much lay it all out and come to tears right in front of you realistically. And it's not, you know, the two guys in makeup and costumes in the ring. It's two gentlemen sitting down and actually working out their differences after approximately 25 years.
Yeah, it's quite amazing that they're even able to speak ever again. So, what do you think tonight can you expect from Bret the Hitman Hart?
That's a very good question. You got to kind of wonder, because it is the location where the screw job occurred. It's Montreal. So you got to wonder if you're going to see Vince McMahon involved. You got to wonder if you're going to see Shawn Michaels appear at all. I kind of think CM Punk is going to go at it with Bret the Hitman Hart, and they're going to debate who's the best. Bret has always been the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. That's his motto, and Punk is the best in the world. So that's what I think is going to happen. But don't be surprised if someone shows up from Bret's past.
Yeah, that could very well be. You have to excuse me for the microphone earpiece difficulties here. Excuse me one second. But do you expect to see maybe Vince McMahon tonight? That's possible, because that's the whole basis of the Montreal Screwjob.
Yes, I really do think that he will make an appearance. But you know what? With Vince, anything can happen, and we'll just have to wait and see. There's a lot of speculation going on at this point. We'll find out shortly.
Also, tonight on Raw, they're talking about last week when CM Punk attacked John Cena viciously. You saw in CM Punk's vehicle was Paul Heyman. Or maybe CM Punk got into Paul Heyman's vehicle. Now, what is with this? Now, I thought it was Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman having this big relationship, and now
Paul Heyman is a great mouthpiece for any wrestler, and I really don't see the reason that Punk would need a mouthpiece. A guy like Lesnar that doesn't talk very well, Paul Heyman is definitely the man to be there, and he can talk as much smack as anyone in the business. And CM Punk really can hold his own, so it's going to be an interesting dynamic to see the two talkative fellows really hash it out between one another. And going back to the Montreal, is with Heyman in CM Punk's corner, it should add a new dimension to the CM Punk character and the heel turn that obviously is occurring.
I agree 100%. I think that CM Punk, he's tired of being disrespected. He's said that over and over. And I think what you're going to see is Paul Heyman push that, continue to push that, and you might see some legal. You know how Paul Heyman was.
Paul Heyman, he's got that attitude that he's you're Sue happy member of society, like your uncle that always wants to sue everybody for everything. Like when Triple H went to attack him, and he was trying to throw all these lawsuits at the WWE.
But that's pretty much going on throughout our country right now. I mean, the lawyers have become, very popular out there in society, and that's what this is portraying.
Exactly.
So I think it's going to be a little legal with CM Punk now. He's tired of the disrespect.
Well, absolutely. You have the people that cannot fight for themselves. A guy like Paul Heyman obviously can't get in the ring and hash it out with Triple H, can't get in the ring and hash it out with Vince McMahon. So his only power that he would have is really the power of attorney.
Like, who's he going to get?
Well, there's David Otunga.
David Otunga, he's always available.
Yes.
AJ Lee, your new Raw general manager for the past couple months here. Now, the WWE Board of Directors has told AJ Lee that she is not to put her hands on any of the talent in the locker room at all. And you saw Vicky Guerrero out there trying to chide her last week. Like, come on, like, and poor AJ, she knew she couldn't do anything about it.
Well,
what's she going to do about it?
What I thought was going to happen, I can't lay my hands on you, but no telling what my foot will do, is what I really thought was going to happen. But we shall see. I think the character of AJ Lee is fantastic. They've been doing a great job with her. She's got great facial expressions. She's probably the best actress the Divas have had. And she really puts it out there. And I'd like to see her start a war with Booker T and really separate the brands again and keep her talent to herself, the Raw talent on Raw, and Booker T keep the talent on SmackDown, and separate the brands and start a rivalry there, because seeing all the guys on both shows, right, I mean, they missed the draft this year, and they no longer even consider it two separate shows.
Yeah, there's been a consolidation, and you can see that. It's very evident. But AJ, I do love the character, and I think the WWE Universe can relate very well to the tantrum she had last week. Have you ever had a bad day where you just wanted to pick up a chair and throw it across the room? The whole WWE Universe can relate to that, and I think what they're doing over there is they're trying to relate to the public, and these demonstrations you see are right on target. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think the AJ Lee character is great. Definite psycho woman.
But I don't believe she's going to be around as the general manager too long, because we don't seem to have too many permanent general managers. You saw John Laurinaitis come and go. You've had guest GMs, hosts, and whatnot, and it's not something that you see anymore, anything long term, from titles being held in the WWE to GMs.
No.
So it's only a matter of time.
You need to have that one permanent person, and that's, if it's AJ Lee, we don't know, but time will tell. Speaking of SmackDown, you had, that's another thing they're going to want to be talking about on Raw tonight, is the fact that SmackDown's GM, Booker T, has banned the Brogue Kick. What's up with that, John?
Well, I think it just takes one piece out of Sheamus's arsenal. And, maybe it's something different. Maybe he'll try something new. He's got a submission move that he's calling the Cloverleaf. That'll give him something different. I hope it changes other characters, too, because we're tired of the same moves. It's almost like, Freebird over and over again. You can only hear the same song so many times. I can only see the same moves over and over and over. John Cena, you know what's going to come next. You know he's going to do the five-knuckle shuffle. You can't see me. and it's just repetitive. And week after week, seeing the same show, it's just like a rerun.
Yes, that's the one thing about Cena, especially.
Yes, I've noticed that. You can't see me, and it's all.
But everyone dogs Cena, but it's all the characters. Randy Orton gets down, and he smacks the mat, and he does his whole Viper routine, and you can almost like predict what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. And I'd like to see a little more diversity. I'd like to see him change it up.
But John, the bro kick was banned. Here's the thing. Why not sweet chin music? That would knock you right down on the floor. It's no different than the bro kick. I mean, what's so special about the bro kick?
The sweet chin music, I think, was from the side, but the bro kick is just coming right at you, right?
Well, I understand what you're saying. It's a similar move. Shawn Michaels isn't really a major character in the game right now, and maybe if he were still an active wrestler, they would ban that as well. But like I said, it takes a piece out of Sheamus's arsenal, and he also hit an innocent victim with it as well. So we're
yes, that is a good point.
Although Ricardo had no business being in the ring, and it was accidental, I'm glad it happened. To be honest with you, I'm glad they took it out, and it forces Sheamus to do something different. And anytime that any of the characters try something different, it's new, it's fresh.
And he has done something different, like you said, with the Cloverleaf.
Absolutely.
I guarantee you that man has a lot in his arsenal. He's a great professional wrestler, and he can do any submission hold pretty much just as well as the next guy can.
I agree. He's absolutely been underutilized and kind of boxed into a corner. And hopefully this will break him out of that character.
Hopefully. And then last but not least, what about CM Punk and rekindling John Cena's desire, like making him angered? I think we've talked about that. Is John Cena ready for another title run?
Well,
or is he popular enough?
He is going to be in Boston at the pay-per-view, and that's close enough to his hometown. They do call Boston his hometown, even though he's not from Boston. And we've seen in the past that many of the superstars go to their hometown and win. So, personally, I don't think it's going to happen because Vince always doesn't do what we expect him to do. And if we expect John Cena to win in Boston, the swerve is going to happen where some shenanigans are going to
Maybe we'll have the Boston screw job now instead of the Montreal.
That would be interesting. That would be interesting.
I kind of see Cena getting the title back because everybody thought at the last pay-per-view that was going to happen, and SummerSlam, CM Punk walked away again. So I kind of think that there's going to be some shenanigans involved in Boston. There's no question about that. But I do see John Cena walking away the WWE champ.
Talking about the WWE Championship, I have the title right here in front of me.
Not the actual...
Oh, absolutely. I won it yesterday. No, at any rate.
I want that.
The WWE title actually has an anniversary. It's 10 years old this week. And in 2002, Triple H was the first...
This is the spinning belt form?
Absolutely, yes. Triple H was the first to obtain it from Eric Bischoff in a tournament. And it's changed, right, in just over 8 years, from 2002... September 2002 to December 2010, it has changed 39 times. 39 different title changes in less than 8 years. And
that's amazing.
The original WWF title went from Buddy Rogers to Bruno Sammartino. Bruno Sammartino held it from 1963 to 1971, which is approximately the same 8 years that this changed hands 39 times. Does it lessen the belt? Does it cheapen it? Or is it like Student of the Month where eventually everyone gets it? Everyone gets a turn with the belt? What do you fellas think?
Well, I don't think just anybody can be a champion.
I agree with you on that.
They look for certain things. And sometimes they don't look at your wrestling ability. They look at your mic skills. They look to see if you can captivate an audience or not. I think some of the best champions we ever had weren't exactly the most technical of wrestlers, but you had that one finishing maneuver, and you had like Hulk Hogan with his leg drop.
Oh,
he
absolutely.
wasn't necessarily the best wrestler out there, but
He wasn't a great wrestler.
he put people in.
But he put butts in the seats, and he did have charisma, and he did, bring people into him. He's definitely one of the most popular characters ever in wrestling.
You talk about a guy like Ric Flair, like one of my favorites, and he could do it all, and he could put butts in seats.
Absolutely.
So, I mean,
And a guy like Ric Flair didn't need a championship belt to get him over. A guy like Roddy Piper did not need a championship belt to put him over. Roddy Piper came out and commanded your attention and got people to either love him or hate him at will. And Ric Flair did the same thing. And, I think at the moment the title is a prop. Whereas in TNA, which we're going to get into, TNA with the Bound for Glory tournament, everybody wants it. That's the goal for everybody to fight for the championship belt. Where in WWE, it's not even the main event anymore. It doesn't even close the show, as CM Punk has been pointing out, and it's just a prop. And it just seems like even some of the guys that have deserved it, it just seems like they get it when it's just their turn. Okay, who are we going to put on the belt this week? Whereas even in Hogan's day, Hogan held it for 5-6 years consecutively. He lost it and got it right back, but he held it for like 5 or 6 years. And everybody strived to get Hogan, to get to that level.
So the bottom line is you don't have to be, in order to be successful in the WWE, to rise to stardom, you don't have to be a title holder.
Oh, absolutely.
You can do that without being a champion, but there are some that, in my view, are just not cut out to be champions, and the Big Show would be one of them. I mean, it's not that he's not a good speaker or anything. He just doesn't have that charisma.
like he's been referred to before, the Big Slow.
That's a whole other thing. But there are wrestlers like that just don't have that charisma about them that a John Cena does, that can go out and excite a crowd, that a Hulk Hogan has, that a Ric Flair has, and that's just the way it is.
But does it make you see John Cena? People come out to see John Cena, whether he has the belt or not. It's not we're going to see the World Wrestling Champion. No, we're going to see John Cena. Whereas a guy that has maybe less of an audience than John Cena, less of an audience than a Hulk Hogan, can be promoted to holding the championship, and he's the world champion, and people are going to go see the world champion. You see the differentiation?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this, you guys. When CM Punk first arrived on the scene, did you have high hopes for him? Did you see him being WWE champion and going right up the ladder? And
I knew he had experience in Ring of Honor, being one of the mainstays over there. But to tell you the truth, no, I didn't think at the beginning. I thought he was just going to be part of ECW, maybe become the ECW champion at the time. I mean, not the real hardcore ECW we knew from before, but the McMahon owned. But to tell you the truth, no, I didn't.
So that was a surprise to me too. I never expected that, and there he is.
I think once he got rid of the Straight Edge Society and that whole gimmick, he definitely showed his in-ring ability and broke out of, that just slowness.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't a good gimmick.
Right. Having the two people dragged him down, and again with Heyman, I think that's going to drag him down because Punk is a force unto himself, and he comes out with the mic, and his battle with Jericho, the two guys, probably the better guys on the mic in the past 15 years, and he doesn't need the Straight Edge Society. He doesn't need a Paul Heyman. CM Punk can do it all himself, out of the ring, inside the ring.
I agree 100% with you, John.
I think he was last year when he came out with the Cult of Personality there, entrance music, and came out and just he sat there right in front of the Titantron and just spewed his mouth. I think right there. I mean, it was almost like it was a sober Steve Austin. He'd just say what was on his mind. And I think that he's better off doing something like that, just staying with instead of having a Paul Heyman.
Absolutely.
We're going to take your calls starting in a few more minutes. Went a little over, which is fine. But we got some news about the indie scene. Last night was actually the last night, yesterday afternoon was actually the last day of the North Haven Fair, and NEW Wrestling was at the fair like they usually have every year. Got some great interviews, got some great footage. That's the good news. The bad news is we weren't able to do anything with it. It was the footage was tied up. It was in lockdown all day. But coming up on our next show, which will be October 1st, our next live show here for the Squared Circle, even though it might be a few weeks old at that point, we're going to definitely show you some of the footage. Ron Zombie, I can tell you right now, came out and he addressed the crowd about his injuries that he suffered back in New York, back over the winter. Looks like you're probably looking at sometime around June next year when he'll be fully able to wrestle again. He told me he can't wait to get back in the ring.
Ron Zombie is one of the better people in the independent scene. He and his foe nemesis, Bull Dread, are two of the better hardcore wrestlers that I've seen since the original ECW days, back in the Paul Heyman. Everything old is new again. But NEW, Northeast Wrestling, puts on a great show. They have a great product. And I believe Jordan has their next event coming up.
Yes, I do. It is called Wrestling Under the Stars, and it's going to be held Saturday, September 22nd at 7 p.m., Dushes Stadium, Fishkill, New York. Hulk Hogan will appear for a meet and greet, but he will not be wrestling on the show.
Just a meet and greet. He's a little bit too old to be in that, especially after a couple hits.
But I bet, you know what, I bet he could do it, if, he wanted to. There'll be an autograph session with the Hulkster and other NEW stars at 4, and there's also going to be a fireworks show. For more information on this show, go to www.northeastwrestling.com.
At that show, there's like a dozen superstars that are going to be there. Roddy Piper, Morrison. If you go on the website, there's like I said, there's about a dozen people that are going to be there, all recognizable names. It's a minor league baseball park, much like the New Britain Rockcats or the Bridgeport Bluefish, to put it into context for you. And it's going to be just a knockout show. I believe it's going to be the independent show of the year with the talent they have on it. If you go onto the website and you see the card, it's just going to blow you away. And for the price, I've been to several of the NEW shows. They give you great value for the money. You can get up close with the superstars, get autographs, get your pictures taken, which you don't see with Vince's product. And unfortunately, there wouldn't be enough time.
Well, because it's so big,
correct,
too.
for all the people. And I don't mean to put WWE down, because they do the fan actions and things like that. But a Northeast Wrestling show gives you the opportunity to go up and meet a guy like Hulk Hogan that you're not going to get every day.
And that's especially important for the children, because they love meeting these wrestlers.
Also, you got on a previous wrestling show here seen on this station, we talked about extremely talented wrestling out in Bristol. They're going to have a card coming up. To get the exact date, to tell you the truth, I think
October 27th.
October 27th is ETW, which is in Bristol. And then we had New England Championship up in Chicopee, Massachusetts.
Yep, October 13th.
And that would be October 13th for that one. But also you had some other, NECW Falling for Glory.
Yeah, that's looks like a good card too. Friday, September 14th, 8 p.m. at the Millerville Men's Club in Blackstone, Mass. Main event will be a return tag team grudge match as Tank the Tank teams with the Boston Bad Boy Jason Rumble to face the Crown Jewels. A new NECW heavyweight champ will be crowned in a special one-night, 4-man tournament. For complete info on this event, you can get it at www.necw.tv.
On October 5th of 2012 in Brooklyn, New York, Family Wrestling Entertainment, FWE Wrestling, is going to present to you the Beautiful People with versus Winter and Maria, Tommy Dreamer versus Rhino, On the card, Jay Lethal, Paul London, the Brian Kendrick, Big Daddy V, appearance by Maurice and Chris Masters. Go to fwewrestling.com for tickets and information. That's another organization, the FWE Wrestling, where you can get a meet and greet starting at 6:15, get autographs with those people and other people on the card. Again, it's another huge card to meet the people that you've seen on television, you've gone to events, and beautiful people versus Winter and Maria is going to be better.
Beautiful people. That's Angelina Love and Velvet Sky
That
from
is
Waterbury,
correct.
Connecticut.
That is correct. Yeah, local talent.
The local
And
talent.
better than anything that Kelly's going to show you in the ring, I'll tell you that.
NEFW was the Chicopee, I believe I just mentioned. I think I called it by a different name. My apologies. Also, you had Powerhouse Wrestling, September Slam. Actually, it's been we're already going past September, so I think that one might be gone already. Or no, wait.
No, that's
No, Saturday,
September
September
Am I losing
29th.
my mind here? I think so.
Yeah, we're ahead
He's
of
had a
ourselves.
long day.
I've had a long day.
I skipped to October ahead of you, so that was,
okay.
that was my fault.
September 29th, 7:30, Worcester, Mass. Friendly House. You have Greg Valentine there, Just Incredible, Kenny Dykstra. You can go to www.powerhouse.tripod.com, is it? Yes. But for all the fans of The Ultimate Warrior,
Yes.
This is a big one. Well, let me tell you, folks, Big Time Wrestling presents The Ultimate Warrior, Friday, October 5th, at the Reggie Lewis Center in Boston, Mass. The Warrior is scheduled to make an in-ring appearance, and prior to the event will be the Ultimate Big Time Wrestling Fan Fest. And Fan Fests are great. I've been to Fan Fests. They're wonderful. You can meet the Ultimate Warrior and other Big Time Wrestling superstars. And for more info on this card, their web address is www.big-time-wrestling.com.
Now, fellas, have you wanted to be in the ring yourselves? Have you ever pictured
absolutely.
yourself doing it? Well, you know what? Don't dream it, be it. You can go to Powerhouse Wrestling Academy right in New Haven, Connecticut, 33 Chestnut Street. Grab a pencil now, right? 33 Chestnut Street, Powerhouse Wrestling Academy, right? Trainer Joseph Von Schmidt will train you to be the next WWE superstar.
Joseph Von Schmidt, that's somebody I've been wanting to get to interview for a long time.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? You can give him a call.
He's a scary,
you can give him a call.
scary individual from what I understand.
Oh, and you know what? He's a great trainer. He's been in all the different federations, WWE, TNA. He's fought against some of the biggest names on the planet, and he's traveled the entire planet. And his number is 203-627-7453. You can get in the ring and learn how to be not only a in-ring talent. He teaches you how to work the mic, and even if you just want to be a referee, you don't have the size and the stamina, you can be a referee, and you can go and be Earl Hebner and recreate the Montreal Screwjob right here in Connecticut.
Wouldn't that be wonderful? And believe me, I mean, the Johnny Rod School of Wrestling was another one. I mean, a lot of people got started. The big stars today, they got started in the smaller wrestling schools. So you never know. You can be a referee, a manager. You don't have to be, in great physical shape. There could be a role for you waiting. You never know.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We could. I guess it's about time we can open up the phone lines here. Well, because we have about 35 more minutes left. The number is area code 203-234-0025. So we'll be here until 8 o'clock, and then it'll be time for Monday Night Raw. But speaking of the competitor to Monday Night Raw, that would be the second largest promotion in the United States, probably the world. That would be TNA Impact Wrestling. And last night was the No Surrender.
Yes, it was. And once again, Aces and Eights continues to dominate. So you got to ask yourself, where is this going to end? I have the results. We do know Jeff Hardy defeated Bully Ray to win the Bound for Glory series. He will now challenge for the TNA World Championship next month at Bound for Glory 8. TNA World Tag Champs Christopher Daniels and Kazarian retain their titles against Kurt Angle and AJ Styles. TNA World Champ Austin Aries, here's where Aces and Eights comes in. Aries battled with a henchman before the arm breaker actually came out, and it ended up Aries hitting the arm breaker with a roll of quarters in the mouth. Sort of takes me back to the J.J. Dillon days a little bit with a roll of quarters. And then pretty soon after that, you had the entire TNA roster out there battling these guys. So again, there's just no end in sight to this. I kind of believe it's going to end at Bound for Glory 8, but I think it's been dragged out long enough.
I would expect that Bound for Glory is going to give us some sort of resolution to this Aces and Eights deal. And I like TNA. TNA is trying hard. It's great that Vince has some competition, maybe to keep him on his toes. But TNA really needs to focus on their younger talent, the guys that they haven't stolen or gotten as leftovers from WWE. Homegrown talent would be great, and give them some competition, right? And one mistake that TNA just made is that the former Luke Gallows just went on his Twitter account and announced that he signed a deal with TNA. So obviously Luke Gallows is part of Aces and Eights.
Definitely. We have a phone call there, Jordan.
Okay.
You are live on the Squared Circle.
Yes, Ed from Wally World reporting in tonight, watching on my clear, crisp U-verse television set.
Wow. As usual.
How are you tonight, Ed?
Very good, gentlemen. It looks good up there. First, I wanted to mention that you mentioned about whether Vince McMahon would show up in Montreal. I'm willing to bet that Linda McMahon may show up and try and garner a few votes.
Oh, absolutely not.
Get some Canadian people to vote for her?
Get them to migrate down to Connecticut on November 6th.
Ed, I really think, Ed, that Linda is trying to just focus on her campaign. I don't think she wants to be involved right now in any sort of WWE event. That's just
that's a good point.
Right, and admittedly, I'm a huge Linda supporter. I've helped her on her campaign, and you know what? The wrestling world does not exist in her mind right now, and her opponent would love nothing more than for her to make an appearance so he can exploit that, right, and take it away from the issues. Linda is definitely focused on the issues and trying to help us out.
Some of these elections are like wrestling matches with them.
Oh, absolutely.
I think they are.
Absolutely.
I think the best part of politics is the negative attack ads.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
it is, and the debates will be interesting to watch. First things first, I wanted to congratulate Hollywood J on his fine showing 1 week ago in the New Haven Labor Day Road Race. Congratulations, young man.
Thanks very much, Ed.
And continued success. And I'm an old runner myself, and I was thinking my nickname now should be the Big Slow, along with that wrestler, the way my times have been. I wanted to mention that it's good to see Bret Hart coming back tonight. I think that was probably the golden age of wrestling with Bret Hart, Ultimate Warrior. You mentioned Roddy Piper, Bruno Sammartino, and somebody who I think, and you haven't mentioned, in my opinion, has the most charisma of any wrestler, I think, is Mark Calloway, The Undertaker.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's the head, the top of the seniority list.
And of
right
course,
now.
We failed to mention Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. I mean,
well, we can go down the
there's a long list.
WWE encyclopedia all night. Unfortunately, Mark Calloway is out of action right now, and Stone Cold is out of action right now, having just come back from knee surgery, I believe. And we're trying to keep with what's current at the moment and what's coming up. But yeah, you do make a great point. There's so many fantastic guys still out there and available. But I'd like to see him focus on some of the younger guys. We've seen Hogan. Hogan's had his day.
And I think, and admittedly, I don't watch it that much. But when I do put on Raw now, there seems to be more dialogue than there is action. And in the old days, when Bret Hart and the Ultimate Warrior and Hogan were in their prime, they got in there and they wrestled.
Right.
It's just too much talking.
And even TNA recently, said where wrestling matters, and they've gone to a soap opera format.
Exactly.
Where, the girl comes in and she's pregnant and it's your baby, and, I'm glad that whole issue was resolved.
John, it's almost as if you're better off watching a soap opera sometimes.
Absolutely, and and admittedly, Vince did hire soap opera writers to help with those backstage.
He really actually did.
Absolutely.
Yes, he did.
So you're
With his
talking
back-
about people that were once working on General Hospital.
on Days of Our Lives, and all the soap operas have recently ended their runs, and these people have time on their hands. So
Oh,
Vince
yeah.
has gotten a couple of them, which for a
Listen,
segment.
gentlemen, let me run along here. I know you have
you.
other calls. I want to wish you
Oh.
luck. You're on once a month now? Next show is October, you
The
said?
next show is October
First.
1st. It's not necessarily once a month. It's they have a certain policy here. You're only allowed to get a certain
Oh, okay,
amount of
okay. No,
dates.
I will consult my local listings.
There we
Okay,
go.
thank
Just
you very
watch.
much, Ed, for checking in with
when
us.
we're not live, you will be seeing reruns.
All right. And gentlemen, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, and this is for your studio audience as well, the New York Jets are going all the way to the Super Bowl this year.
Jets, Jets.
Wow.
It doesn't really matter to me one way or the other as long as I get paid.
Right.
Have a good night.
Thank you very much, Ed.
You mentioned the Jets. I'm interested to see what the numbers are going to be for Monday Night Raw once Monday Night Football starts tonight.
Yeah,
There's
this
a big
is.
competition.
We were talking about TNA's No Surrender last night. That, of course, overlapped Sunday Night Football, where you had Peyton Manning returning, or going to the Denver Broncos for the first time.
Right.
So it's like there's just a lot going on there, and
And your demographic for Monday Night Football and Sunday Football is the same demographic, or very much of a crossover from the demographic that the wrestling shows are going after. You're going after the teen to middle-aged males, and there's only so many hours of the day. And with DVRs, a certain percentage of the people will tape the wrestling shows and watch them later. And I think you're watering down the content because you're going to fast forward through a lot of it.
I agree.
It might hurt. But anyway, back to what we were talking about, that No Surrender.
Yes.
Well, there was a couple matches I didn't cover yet. TNA Knockouts champion Miss Tessmacher defeated Tara. And of course, in the beginning, Jeff Hardy defeated Samoa Joe. That was a semifinal match, but I already told you the main event, so that goes without saying. And pretty much, again, the focus was on aces and eights, and Hogan got the police involved, and we're just going to have to see where this is all going to go.
They might have been hired some writers from ABC Daytime
Oh,
or
yeah.
CBS or.
I really hope that it's not Hogan, when we're going to have a flashback to WCW Bash at the Beach with the big Hogan turn, because TNA has not met an idea that they don't recycle. And it just seems that that's where we're headed.
The
And
understanding
Hogan-
I had was, sorry to cut you
Go
off,
right ahead.
was that it would be Jeff Jarrett. It's somebody we haven't seen in a long time.
Right.
Jeff Jarrett and his father were the founders of TNA.
Oh, absolutely.
They don't own the company any longer, but and that
Jeff
could-
Jarrett is still very involved, and he's trying to work the product overseas and get some, foreign markets involved, which Vince has been very successful at doing, and TNA hasn't quite broke that barrier yet. But these guys in Aces and Eights, we know one of them is going to be Luke Gallows, one of them is possibly Garrett Bischoff, and I think the other guys are just the guys that deliver your sofa from Rent Center.
Yeah, they could be people that we've never encountered before. I mean, they're masked men, so.
Masked men.
But I still stand by what I said, that I think this is all going to come to an end at Bound for Glory
Let's
8,
hope
which is
so.
like the WrestleMania for TNA. So we'll just have to wait.
It's kind of like the NWO with masks.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's
And-
all it
and
really is. It's
and
the nexus with masks.
As I said, TNA doesn't do anything that's
that
not
they
recycled.
haven't. Yes, exactly.
And anytime you have a situation where there's a group of heels going against the other heels and the baby faces, like NWO, WCW, I should know the NWO North Haven chapter. That's why they call me Hollywood J. Williams.
Hollywood J.
I got wrapped up in the importance of all that too, and every time it just fails. It worked back then, but it doesn't really work now.
Right. And once you've seen it, you've seen it. It's like the remake of Spider-Man and the remake of Superman. We know that Spider-Man's going to get bit, by the spider. Peter Parker's going to get bit by the spider. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. We know that this Aces and Eights is going to be revealed. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. And hopefully it's not too much of a letdown. Maybe it'll be a huge surprise. It'll be something we can't predict or expect.
It could.
If it's just another recycle, how many times am I going to get disappointed? You're raising my expectation that who are these guys? Who are these guys? And then when it turns out if they're like nobody, or if it's just,
I myself am already bored with the storyline, and I just want to move forward. So if you're out there, TNA, Hulk Hogan, whatever, let's just move it forward, please.
Give us something new.
Give us something new to talk about. Something new like, this week was Bound for Glory. Next week is Night of Champions.
No surrender. Bound for Glory is coming up next month.
Coming up. Night of Champions. Going back to WWE.
Right now, there are 4 announced matches for Night of Champions, and that's September 16th. That's coming up this Sunday at TD Garden in Boston, Mass. So we know WWE champion CM Punk is going to defend his title against John Cena. Guys, your take on this?
I've weighed my 2 cents in. John Cena, I don't think will win the title because it's just expected for the hometown boy to win, and I see a swerve coming.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think CM Punk might carry the belt. You might even see him carry the belt all the way into WrestleMania.
Well, I've already stated
that way there could be CM Punk versus The Rock.
Well, that is another scenario, and that's not the first time I've heard that. That is another possibility. But I just have a feeling John Cena, because it's in Boston, as I said earlier, is going to end up walking away with that.
So before you go up any further, we have another call.
That's what I thought I was hearing.
Yeah. You are live on the Squared Circle.
Hi.
Hi.
I had a quick question about Owen Hart.
About Owen Hart? Yes.
Go right ahead.
Do you remember when he fell and he passed away?
Right.
Did he?
Could you turn
has the wrestling enhanced any safety measures since then that's more recognizable on TV?
Could you maybe turn your television set a little down because we didn't quite.
Yeah, you need to lower the sound at home because we're getting feedback.
If you repeat the question, that would be great.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Okay. After Owen Hart died, after he fell, has wrestling enhanced any of their safety measures from that point?
Oh, absolutely. You haven't seen that type of stunt done again, and nobody wants to see anyone get hurt. And Owen Hart was obviously a great talent, and it was a tremendous loss not only to the WWE and their fans. It was a loss to the entire industry, and it was a black mark on the industry. And getting back to Wrestling with Shadows, if you purchase this disc, which I don't get any money from, but on the bottom here is the life and death of Owen Hart. It's a bonus disc, and it does explain the whole situation, how it happens, what the aftermath was, and they actually show some shots from his funeral. And it was a sad thing, and it was a tremendous loss. And there was really nobody to blame. Everyone tries to blame Vince for making him do it, and it was just a bad hookup, and he fell, and it was a tragedy.
But they never tried that stunt again, as you said.
Absolutely,
they definitely did not. But
you don't see that anymore. You did see Shawn Michaels, zip line in, but the zip line is a tried and true method that we can go in the backyard and do.
Mm-hmm.
But don't try it at home.
Thank you guys, and you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you very much for checking in with us.
You're welcome. Feel free to call back anytime.
Okay. Bye.
That was, I remember Owen Hart was the victim of somebody having a really, really, really bad day. It's very, it was very sad.
Yes.
Mm. But getting back to your...
Yeah, moving right along here, Sheamus, our world heavyweight champion, versus Alberto Del Rio.
The Mexican star himself, the
That's
Mexican
right.
aristocrat.
Now, this has been getting to a really heated level with these two men.
It's been going on for a
do you
little
think?
while now. I think this feud's been plaguing us the whole summer. I'm going to go out and say Del Rio. I don't know why.
I have a feeling it's Del Rio's time.
Yeah.
I agree on this one.
He'll make a great heel champion, and I hope he hangs on to the belt and just rubs it in everybody's face. I mean, he's a real good heel. He does his job well. He's earned that spot in the company, and I have a feeling he'll hang on to it for a while and just be a real nasty guy with it.
I agree. He's gonna win the title, and you know what? Everything has just gone so right for Sheamus, and something's got to go wrong pretty soon.
Yeah.
Something's got to give.
So that's-
even the big men in the sport, like Sheamus, eventually will just, eventually you need to get the belt away from them and put it on a heel, so you can generate the heel heat.
Now, I expect more matches to be added to this card tonight, at least a tag team, because I don't.
It seems kind of slow.
I don't see Kofi Kingston and R-Truth on here.
Right. Well, going into less than a week away from a pay-per-view, and they've only announced 4 matches, doesn't really entice me to want to buy it. I don't see many people, just based on the 4 matches. So I expect tonight on Raw they'll have some sort of announcement, because this is the final Raw before the pay-per-view.
That's right.
I understand we have SmackDown, but Raw is the flagship show, and you're going to have 3 hours to announce or set up a match that will hook in some more buy rate on that pay-per-view.
Yeah, and when you look at the other 2 matches on the card, they really don't do a whole lot for me. The Divas champion Layla versus Caitlyn for the title, and then you've got Randy Orton versus Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
There's got to be something, to me, there's got to be something better coming out of this.
It's not to discourage anybody from wanting to go.
No, not at all.
I'll be definitely taking the brand new squared circle limo out to one of the famous watering holes here in town.
Yeah, I'd love to know who's funding that, because I don't have my wallet on me right now. So.
No.
As long as we have
When
a
you're one
designated
of the biggest icons in town, you can definitely take care of yourself on that one.
Well, I'm not Hollywood yet, so.
No.
Which of these 4 matches have we not seen yet?
I know. It's getting a little repetitive here, and I've noticed that myself.
And with the 3-hour Raw format, and the pay-per-view is 3 hours, what's the difference? What is it that is going to make me spend that $50 for the pay-per-view? I'm already getting 3 hours of Raw for free. I'm getting 2 hours of
However much they
SmackDown.
charge, yeah.
2 hours of SmackDown for free. I'm getting a Saturday morning show now, which is 30 minutes for free. So I'm looking at 5.5 hours for free. 2 YouTube shows that I can watch with no charge. So what is it that's going to entice me to spend my $50 in today's economy for this pay-per-view?
I have to agree with you. The way it looks right now, the WWE has always been full of surprises, and I love their product, not taking anything away from them. But I do agree with you there.
It's almost better off if they launch finally this WWE network, which there's news about that. There's some say that they're going to put it on hold indefinitely. They say that the NBC is getting involved with it somehow, but if they take all their pay-per-views and put it onto the network, maybe just charge it for the network, that might be better off.
I think you can do that with select pay-per-views. I think we're always going to have to pay for the big 4. WrestleMania is definitely the Super Bowl of the WWE, and you have the Royal Rumble, you have SummerSlam, and you have the Survivor Series. Those are the big 4 that we're always going to pay for. But they recently gave us King of the Ring for free on regular television. So
They put that on the Raw.
Yeah, so once the network hits, you may see maybe TLC, which would have been a pay-per-view. That would be an enticement to get the network, to subscribe to the network, to go up in your next package on your cable provider or your DirecTV provider.
Exactly.
So, we may see the 14 pay-per-views maybe move down to 8, and then the other 6 will be getting on the network.
I say just go back to the way things were and just have less the 4 main pay-per-views for the whole year, and then bring back some of the Saturday night's main events or even Clash of the Champions.
That's exactly what I'm
since
getting
they
at,
own.
right.
But here's the thing, I mean, in pay-per-views, there's big money, let's face it. And you know what? I mean, more pay-per-views, that's how they're looking at it. I mean, yeah, back in the day, that I wouldn't mind that myself. It was simple. You knew what was there.
Right. When you had only 4 pay-per-views a year, it was an event. When you've got one every 3 weeks, because there's 14 a year, it's more than once a month. It's not an event anymore. It's just another day.
And many people out there probably cannot afford to buy these, and it's just.
Oh, the numbers! I mean, the numbers. If you go, the numbers are proving it. The WWE stock has been down, and has been down for quite some time now. And I have it right on my computer screen every day, and I believe it's down 4 points today.
I did not
Don't
check, but I
really
believe
know.
you.
You know, he has investors to answer to now.
Of course, if his wife becomes a U.S. senator, who knows if that stock will rise or plummet further? Or
Well, if she becomes after the election, one way or another, we're going to see a change in the programming. I truly believe that some of what Vince had done in the past has definitely been toned down, and the PG, not only because Linda's running for senator, but also the deal that he had cut with the toy manufacturer, Mattel. Thank you. The deal that he cut with Mattel limits him to how much violence he can show, how many times
Definitely,
you see blood in the ring.
it's
and
not
we haven't
the
seen
Attitude
blood.
Era.
It's far from the Attitude Era. It's even far from the Hogan days where these guys would blade and you'd see Ric Flair with the crimson mask at every other match.
It is a
How about
totally
the time
different
the steak
scene.
was gnawing on Randy Savage's
Oh,
arm
yeah.
from Jake?
Yeah.
But guys, these storylines, I mean, coming out of the WWE, I have to admit, these are entertaining. Many of them, I have to laugh. I mean, did you see Hornswoggle last week? I mean, he is cute. He extended his hand to Daniel Bryan, and he goes, hey, feel better? Feel better now? And so Daniel trusts him, shakes his hand, and Hornswoggle kicks him in the
That
leg.
literally came out of nowhere.
But I'm just
I
saying
wasn't even expecting that.
The mental parts of these storylines. I mean, it's just. I think it's very humorous. I think it's a lot more than TNA is doing, because what you see there is mainly brawling. I like I like something with a sense of humor, and I think WWE gives us a sense of humor.
I agree with you to a point, but I mean, on a 3-hour Raw, if we were to take a stopwatch, how much are they actually wrestling? There's a lot of, as you mentioned before, there's a lot of talking going on. There's a lot of storyline going on. Even over in TNA, there's a lot of talking going on. There's a lot of storyline going on.
If you ever DVR it, that 2 hours, especially of SmackDown,
And I've done it.
it figures out to be about $1.20.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and I don't even want to get into the commercial content, but just the actual wrestling, the in-ring performance, where you see a Ring of Honor, and that's all they have is an in-ring performance, and that's a little too much in the opposite direction. And I think neither company has found the good mix between the outside the ring entertainment and the in-ring performance. The in-ring performance, it is absolutely a wrestling show.
Well, I do agree with the gentleman that called before that mentioned about how there is so much more talk now as opposed to actual wrestling that we used to see years ago. And I agree, I do miss that. I agree with him 100%. I do miss the old days where you got more product, you got more bang for your buck.
Ring of Honor, I'm glad you mentioned them. That's actually, if you ever have the opportunity to go to one of their shows, I did several years ago. That's something where you constantly see action all the time. They do most of their talking in the ring. They don't usually use microphones.
Right. The Ring of Honor product is very successful with their internet pay-per-view. You can order it live, or you can order a replay for a relatively inexpensive price compared to the competition, and you see some really good wrestling. I myself, I'm not a fan of sitting in front of my computer screen, but the generation that is. And for those of you that can sit in front of your computer screen and watch some wrestling, it's a great product. Ring of Honor definitely has some of the better wrestling out there, and it's really no frills. There's no production value. No,
You got
they
the
don't have
Briscoe
the
brothers over there. You got Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas.
Yeah, the
believe it-
greatest tag team in the
I believe
world.
are the tag
I
team.
wondered what happened to Shelton Benjamin. That was something that he
Yeah,
eluded
they
me.
are known as the greatest tag team in the world, and they do put on a great show. But it is no frills, and it feels more like an independent than a TNA or a WWE product.
Definitely. We'll be wrapping things up here momentarily, but I want to thank everybody for tuning in here to the Squared Circle. But I also want to thank a gentleman that's been working with us in the back here at NHTV for a long time here on the Squared Circle on our debut episode, and he's been down here. His name is Hugo, and I want to wish him luck. He is actually leaving the station pretty soon. I want to wish him luck on his future endeavors. If you can hear me, hats off to you.
Great
Good luck,
job,
Hugo.
Thank you.
But our next live episode will be October 1st, and October 8th after that, where we hopefully as a guest, as far as I know, Vinny Viscarello, Vinny V, better known as, he was on the previous show here at the Top Rope. But hopefully he'll be coming on as a guest on October 8th, so he can talk about his card coming to the Bristol Boys and Girls Club. But any last final words?
Yeah, what we failed to mention was the night after Night of Champions in Harbor Yard in Bridgeport, Connecticut, will be a live Monday Night Raw. And I'll be there.
Definitely.
Any of you?
I don't have tickets.
Well, the day of the show, Vince releases some hot seats.
I'll have to call the right people and get the ball rolling.
There we go. And
Exactly.
Maybe Hollywood J will be in the ring.
You know what? I would definitely pay to see that.
I always wanted
Against
to
the
be
great Khali.
We have 2 minutes. We're wrapping things up. I am glad to be back on the air. I am glad to be back in the host seat. Anything that has gone on me in the last few months here, if anything, if anybody's been upset by anything with the previous show, I do want to apologize. But those days are behind us, and I'm pretty confident here with this new show, The Squared Circle, that we're gonna be able to provide to you people the greatest in wrestling info like we've done here tonight. And I want you to stay tuned on the 1st for clips from the North Haven Fair.
Like us on Facebook, Squared Circle.
That's right. And I'd like to thank all the callers that participated tonight. Don't be afraid to give us a shout again.
Definitely. Definitely, and don't forget about, like John here said, next week, Raw will be in Bridgeport.
Bridgeport, Harbor Yard.
Arena at
Arena at Harbor Yard. Webster Arena at Harbor Yard. Excuse me, Webster.
Webster Arena. I wish we still had a New Haven Coliseum. It'd be so much
I
fun.
loved wrestling
That's
at
a
the
whole
New Haven
show in
Coliseum.
itself.
Yep, we could go
Document-
on and on forever with that.
Speaking of public television, the last days of the Coliseum, excellent footage, not only of the old arena, the hockey team, the concerts that were there. Excellent.
Oh, it's amazing.
Last days of the Coliseum.
I'll never forget it.
Right. And the last event at the Coliseum was WWE Wrestling.
That was the last event. But I'm Hollywood J. Williams here. I want to thank Jordan Izzo and John Zimmerman for coming on the air with me tonight. And we will see you on October 1st. For now,
Stay in the square circle.
stay in the square circle. Good night and good luck.